everyone, it's Cindy and welcome back to the channel and happy 2023. So today I am sharing with you the very first build of the new year, and if you are a fan of the Netflix series Wednesday, which has been super popular, then you're going to love this build. It is a spooky gothic apartment renovation that is not supposed to be recreating the Wednesday series, but very heavily inspired by the Wednesday series. So this apartment I decided to use is the 18 Culpeper House apartment in the Spice District of San Myshuno. It is the apartment that has the historical plaque in it, which you cannot remove, and it has the historic lot trait as well to it. And I've also added in the spooky lot challenge, so you will have ghosts visit this property more frequently than normal as well. The build costs about 86,000 simoleons, and if you enjoy this build and you would like to add it to your game, which would be awesome if you did, it is available for download from the gallery under my username Hygge. That's HYGGEHAVEN, and also under the same hashtag Hygge. So one of the things that you're going to notice throughout this build, or you might notice, is I do change my mind a lot about a lot of things. It took me a while to decide on wallpapers and floors, and then I go back and I change a few wallpapers throughout the build here and there, and there are some areas where even though I finish one room, I pop back in later to make some changes and so forth. So you're going to see a lot of that in this build, but I had so much fun working on this, and that's why I just kept getting inspired. Oh, I can add this in, I can add that in. And it's also interesting because I don't actually own the vampire or the werewolf or the magic game packs. I just have the paranormal stuff pack. So that's kind of all of the spooky stuff, plus, of course, the spooky day Halloween themed pack. So I don't have a lot of gothic, vampire-y, spooky things to add into this build, but I think there was still plenty in the game to make it work. So I had a lot of fun making this build. So you'll see that I've already done quite a lot of work in the apartment already. We've done the kitchen. I added in like a little breakfast nook area, even though there is a formal dining room and dining table. I added in as well, kind of like a pass-through window using the columns and the spandrel, and then you can kind of see from the kitchen into the dining room as well. You'll notice that I'm using a lot of candle-based lights, either the candles on the walls or the beautiful giant candle chandelier in the dining room as well. And in the living room, I've done a lot of fireplaces. There's a fireplace in the living room kind of parlor area, as well as in the study, which I'm working on right now as well. I've also put in a lot of the haunted paintings that came with the Spooky Day stuff pack, and I'm not entirely sure if the paranormal paintings, which I've also used, if they have any special effects. I haven't actually gotten around to like playing with the game mechanics of the paranormal pack. But I've put a lot of those in as well, so they will change and have haunted, spooky pictures as well in them. Here in the study, you'll see that I added in the paranormal desk, and I've also added in like the old style typewriter, so-called computer. You'll see I've put in the palmistry hand there because of course we had to have Thing represented in the apartment. So Thing is there by Wednesday's typewriter. And what else did I have in the study here? I put in the zebra rug because we don't unfortunately have like a bear skin with a head rug in the game anymore, which we used to in previous iterations. So it's a bit strange they haven't added that in yet. I also added in the crystal ball from Paranormal Stuff Pack so that Wednesday can keep in touch with her family, or of course they can keep in touch with her. I also added in a violin to the study, and you'll notice that I have sized it up so that it is cello sized because we don't have a cello in the game. But just be aware that if your Sims try to play that, it's going to look ridiculous, of course, because it's going to be way too big and it's going to go through their head and everything. But it is a fun little addition. I was going to add in like a second smaller violin that would be much more realistic for them to play, but I just decided on adding the cello in, so just be aware of that. And then here in the bedroom, I was trying to decide which bed to use. I really liked the style of the Get Famous bed, but I didn't like how blue it was, so I actually used this island living bed instead. And we've put in an old vanity, and on the vanity, I've got some black nail polish because in the series, Wednesday wears black nail polish. And there's also some hand creams in there because there are references to Thing having a bunch of hand creams that he likes to use as well, so I've added those in. It was also really difficult to try and choose plants to include in this build because, of course, the Addams family being quirky and spooky, they don't like, beautiful flowering blossoms. You often see Morticia cutting the heads off roses and just putting the stems in a vase. So it was really hard to choose. So I opted for a lot of plants and floral arrangements that are basically just twigs or they look kind of dead and like sticks, or in this case I put in a cactus. And I also found here the calla lilies, and I was super excited about that because they are a funeral flower. So at this point I'm just finishing off putting the clutter in all its appropriate places in the study, and I also go back into the living room and I add in a voodoo doll and the cursed doll from Paranormal into the living room parlor area because that was an absolute necessity to include in this build, of course. So if you enjoyed this build and this video, please give it a like. Why not subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell for more uploads and fun additions to your game. And we are just about finished here. There we are adding the dolls in, and I will leave you all with the screenshots. Thank you so much for watching and have a lovely day.